Well, hello friends. Welcome back to the program. So today we are going to work on icon view stuff, and it's going to be about inline renaming. So if we open a file manager here, we can see a bunch of files in my home directory, and they are all laid out in an icon view here. And I would like it very much if I could just press F2 and edit the name of this file in line here, like it would make a little text box for me where I could edit. Unfortunately, there's no way to do that at all right now. We don't have any kind of rename feature, actually. So today we are going to give the icon view the ability to edit things. And we already have the ability to edit things in table views, which we can see on display here in the spreadsheet application. As you can see, I was able to turn this thing into a text box, which is pretty cool. So we want to use kind of the same mechanism in icon views, and let's just go and take a look at how it works in the table view, because I already forgot how that works. So I think the way that this is done is that first off, your model has to advertise, your data model has to advertise that it's editable. So let's see, model has is editable, right? So you view will ask the model if a given index is editable, and then we say true or false. So the first thing I guess we'll try to do is for the file system model, we will, we don't say anything about it is editable, so we'll just default to returning false. But we will override this, and then we will say is editable. And let's see, so we only want, I guess we could allow you to try to change the name of anything at the moment, and then once we actually try to commit the rename to the file system, it can fail at that point, like if you don't have permission to change the name of something, for example. So maybe we'll just say, like, if index is not valid, then this is not editable. But if it is valid, so let's get the node for it. What's the how do I get the node? This node. Yeah. That doesn't need to be. That doesn't need to be mutable. What am I doing? Okay, so node. You know what? Let's just say always editable, as long as the column is name. Because for now, let's not allow editing any other column. So we have like the size of the file, the owner, the group. It might be cool if you could edit those things through the file system model, like the owner and the group, but at the same time, I feel like that's a more involved operation that will require super user privileges, right? And probably the best interface for editing owner and group is not necessarily like by editing them inline in a file system view. Anyway, maybe it is, I don't know. Ignoring that, so now we'll advertise these as editable, and let's see what happens if we just bring this up. So obviously here nothing will still happen, but if we switch to a table view, can I trick it into editing somehow? How do I do that? Set, there's some begin editing thing. which will start if you press F2. Oh, and we need our edit triggers. What are the default edit triggers? Double clicked or edit key pressed? Okay, so I'm pressing F2 and nothing happens. If I double click, that happens. So well, the table view, the view itself must be marked as editable as well. Well, we should mark all of the views in the file manager as editable. It's a bit weird that both the model and the view have to advertise or have to indicate editability. Maybe views should just do whatever the model wants. I'm not sure. At the same time, it's nice to be able to lock a view even if the model is mutable. So let's see. Set up table view. Okay, so this is just setting up all the different views. Set editable, true. Set up icon view. Yeah, so we'll just set all the views to editable. So still nothing happens in the icon view, but here, dang it, still nothing. Although now if I double click, I guess it tries to start editing, but nothing comes of it. So we want to turn off the double click edit trigger. I want to set the edit triggers to be only GUI abstract view edit trigger edit key pressed. That's the F2 key by default. So when you double click on a file in the file manager, you don't want to edit. You just want to launch that file or open it or whatever. So table view. So that's fine. And then what happens when we do begin editing then? So first thing is we check if the edit index is, if we're already editing this index, then there's no op. We ask the model if it's an editable index. And then we try to create an editing delegate. Wait, so how does this work again? So we have to set this thing up. Right. Make an editing delegate, and then the editing delegate is a thing that helps us edit, and it helps. Okay, so that's how we hook creating the editing widget. All right. I'm just catching up on how this works. It's been a while. So I guess we'll start with the table view since that's already set up. I thought this was going to be an icon view video, but it seems like we're going to do table view first. So table view, create editing delegate, and then we have a string model editing delegate, which is a convenience class for when you just want to edit a string somewhere in a model. And in our case, I think that's probably good enough. So we just make a GUI string model editing delegate. And where was that class? Model editing delegate.h. All right. And that's that. And in fact, this is much simpler than that. Okay. Yeah. So basically, when the table view is asking for an editing delegate, we just give it the generic string one. And that still is not good enough, but at least double click works now. So let's see. Why was that not good enough? Just gonna look here then. Wait, maybe we are not saying that it's editable. Didn't I say in file system model? Okay, here, let's say debug, begin editing, index, model is editable. Yeah. We'll just see what that says. So here nothing happens, sure. Okay, begin editing, but the model says that this is not an editable index. So the index looks valid, and the column is 1, which looks like named me. Oh, wait, back up. We are not talking directly to the file system model. I'm being silly. We are talking to a sorting proxy model that's sitting in between. So we have to teach the sorting proxy model to forward the isEditable lookup. That's why it's not working. Sorting proxy model is editable. And then we simply have to ask the source model if this index is editable. And we'll do that just for extreme clarity. Because we're using a proxy model to sort the contents of directories. So still nothing here, of course. But look at that. Boom. That's pretty neat. Okay, so let's try to change the name. Moo. Nothing happened. Well, that's okay. So after you try to commit, your editing delegate commits, which means that I press enter basically in the thing. And then what happens is we call model set data, and then index and a new value. And the value is a GUI variant, so it can be anything. So in file system model, we simply need to implement set data. File system model. Well, let's call it data, maybe. Okay, so if index is not valid, or actually we can even here assert is editable index, because we shouldn't be calling set data otherwise. And then how do we update this? So I guess we'll fetch the node. So we'll get the mutable node, and then node dot. Well, now we want to perform a rename essentially. So the full path. This this is kind of interesting. We want to do a mutable or file system mutating operation from here. So we want to call rename on node full path, new full path. And what will be the new full path? I guess, let's see, new full path is node full path. Can we change? Oh, lexical path is not mutable. So we have deer name. Wait, do we do rename anywhere in the file manager? Seems like we don't. Okay, here we have something. Rename, make full path, new file, make full path. Okay, this is very interesting. So it's the parent path. Yeah, I can figure that out. Where does that come from? Lexical path, deer name. Exactly what I wanted to know. Okay. So, deer name, let's say. Auto deer name is lexical path, node full path, deer name. That's the directory that we're in. Okay, and then new full path is string formatted, something like that. And deer name data. Trying out the new string formatting stuff that Paul has been working on. Looking pretty cool. Let's see if it works. I haven't actually written any code using that yet, so this will be the first. Okay, and then if... So here's kind of interesting. We need to signal an error if something goes wrong, right? So do we have error? We have an error callback. Okay. If on error, RC, and wait, what is that string? Error string. Okay, all right. I guess we'll just pass along the error now. And the stir. Oakley dokley. Oh, I can't pass a GUI variant, of course, to string. What about that? That's fine. Wait, I don't know if anything happened. Are we even here? Set data. Index is index. Data is data. To string. Let's put some quotes around that. Okay. Also, this text box is a little too small. Like, you can't quite see the top of the F here, which is a bit weird. But I feel like we're not calling set data. So that's probably why nothing happens. So, oh, again, because it is a sorting proxy model. So this time I was faster to realize what was going wrong. So we are just calling set data on the sorting proxy model, and we've never set data through a sorting proxy model before, so that's why it's not working. But that's easy to fix. We will simply source set data, map to source, proxy index data. Boom. Ah, man, I wonder if this is gonna just beautifully work. We'll see. Would be nice, wouldn't it? Come on now. Click X. Ooh, it has an X now. So this thing collapsed over here. That's a separate issue. But the rename actually worked. That's so neat. Boom. And of course here we can't get it into editing mode. Same in the columns view. But hello, it totally works here. And look, the icon changes too based on the extension. Oof. That's kind of neat. Change it to JS. So that's awesome. Will it resort? Yes, it does. That's so cool. It resorts. Very, very awesome. Okay, all right. I guess we have some commits here, so let's see what we can do. Let's start with the... Actually, let's start with the proxy model changes. I just want those. And they're nicely separate from everything else. So forward, make sorting proxy model forward is editable and set data. This will allow us to edit models through a sorting proxy model. Cool. And then let's do these guys. So the set data feels a little bit somehow this code feels a little bit weird. I don't know. Maybe it's the assertion that is feeling weird, but I'm just gonna roll with it. So make file system or support file name editing through file system model. Editing file names through file system model. Yes. Very cool. And then let's see, directory view. So I guess all of these guys, they just want to set up the same kind of basic editing delegate. So we're just gonna do that, even though it's not actually doing anything for the other view types yet. We can at least install the delegate. I don't think that's particularly bad. So yeah, it's a decently attractive patch. FileManager. Install editing delegates. Teach directory view subviews to create editing delegates. This allows inline. This enables inline editing of file names for table views, where this is already supported. More work in libGUI will be required to support the feature in icon and columns views. Okay, so finally we are back to icon view, the original place I wanted to go. So in table view, basically when you key down in a table view, we look at key F2, and then we check if edit key pressed is an edit trigger. If so, we begin editing here. So I think we can probably, this logic here is going to be exactly the same in icon view. Key down. Yeah. And then begin editing. that's an abstract view, so that's fine. So he will call content rect and try to put an editor widget over the entire content rect. So that's kind of interesting because it makes more sense, I think, in the table view case, because then the content rect of an index is very clearly like this column and row here. So this is the content rect that we use. But in the icon view, what happens is, well, nothing right now. But I think maybe we'll just end up turning this whole area with the icon and everything into a text editor. But what? Am I not calling this right? Icon view. Is editable. Let's see. F2 pressed. Is editable. Triggers. Yeah, let's just do that. And then here we can say like begin editing. Model editable. I think this probably actually fails the model editable check because I think the model is expecting us to provide the column index of the name column, but I think probably we're screwing that up in the icon view, since icon view doesn't really have columns. No, that was not the problem. So begin editing, 5.1. That seems like a valid index. Model is editable at that index. So it wouldn't fail here. So, this assertion doesn't fire. Presumably we are adding, let's see. Wait, why did I capture like that? That made no sense. That just makes no sense. Let me just fix that right away. Oh, maybe the content rect is empty, actually. Let's see, debug, edit widget, content rect. Content rect returns an empty rect, and it's probably not even implemented for icon view. Okay, so maybe that's what's happening. Yes, it is an empty rect. Okay, so we need to implement content rect. That's fine. We'll do that. So override. Now, maybe you could argue that we should have a separate rect for like the editing rect or something like that. But right now, let's just cheese this and return the text label rect thing. What do we have here? Item rects. The item rects are a whole bunch of things. Okay, all right. That's cool. So icon view, content rect. Then we want to get item rect. I feel like that's more like get item data. Item index is a row number. Wait, what? Item data. Oh, item data. Okay, that's probably what we want. If the index is not valid, well, then never mind. But data. So okay. Is that fine? I don't know why it's using integer indexes, but let's just roll with it. I guess because column indexes are kind of irrelevant in the icon view. The only thing we use it for is to figure out which data to put in the label of the icon. So item data text rect, yes. So let's return that. What happens if we just return that as the content rect? Oof. Aha. That's pretty cool. And now we think it's a C++ file. Boom. All right, that's awesome. Okay, so very, very cool. It's a little bit unfortunate, again, that the text is cut off. So probably something we could do better. I wonder if the solution for that is to pad the content rect. But at that point, like it really seems like we should have a separate rect getter for this. So anyway, that's just a columns view left. So let's just do one thing at a time here. So basic enablement of editing in icon view. GUI. Enable inline editing, support inline editing in GUI icon view. Icon view now responds to the editing key F2 if the view is editable. It does feel a little bit weird to have content rect return the text rect for an item and not the whole item rect. Maybe this API, this internal API, could probably be better. So maybe let's just look at the columns view as well, since we're so close. Also, the fact that these are identical makes me think that maybe this should just be yoinked up to abstract view. Like, why is this not an abstract view? Key down. See, like we already do the cursor keys here, so why not also do the magical editing key, right? We can do that. Key F2. And then we'll take that out here. Because then it ends up in columns view for free. So let's not add that debugging code. GUI, move to key handling up to abstract view, or editing key. Key down. View. We want all views to respond to the editing key as long as the relevant edit trigger is activated. Yes. Content rect. Probably columns view does not implement content rect. No, it doesn't. Okay, so that's the last remaining piece then. I think. I am not strong on columns view internals. This was implemented by Sergey, who apparently felt very strongly about columns views, and I think it's a lovely widget. So great work by Sergey. Let's see. I mean, I guess if we don't have a model, or no, hold on. If the index is not valid, return empty thing. Let's not get carried away with weird stuff. So if the index is not valid, otherwise, how do we compute the rect of an index? What API do we have here? Index at event position. How does that work? Bunch of coordinate math. Is anybody making rects? Text rect. So that's probably what I want. Okay, so when we paint, we iterate the columns, and then we compute the row rect, icon rect, text rect. And text rect fetches from icon rect, which fetches from column X and the icon spacing. All right, and column X is something that we accumulate by appending each column width. Okay, all right. And is that how the computation worked for index at event position? Yeah, so it just iterates across the columns. All right, so I guess we can probably do something like this. Content rect. So I took this from XY position to model index. So what we want to do is we want to compute the column X, because the column width is the M columns. Wait, shit, how does that work? The index column is irrelevant. Wait, how the heck do we do that? So each column has a parent index and a width. Right, so what we need to do first of all is like locate the thing that we have selected. So we want to look for the column that has the same parent index as the index we are providing. Yeah. So, if column parent index is my index's parent, then now we have the column. Otherwise, so we're going to return after doing this. Return the rect. But for each column that doesn't have the same parent index, we will increase the column X by the width of that column we just visited. Yes. Okay. And then so now we know the column X, which is the X of our rect. Let's see, rect set X, column X, rect set Y. Y is going to be the row number of the index times the row height, I guess. Item height, yeah. And then the width of the rect will be the column width, and the height of the rect will be the item height. And if we don't find a column, we just return like that. All right, let's try it. Oof, oof, oops. Wait. And almost. The column X does not look right. The Y looks good though. The width looks good, but the X is all goofed. Column X. Oh, because I removed that thing. That's silly. Cool. Cool. HTML. Totally renamed to HTML. And look how that markdown does not render well. What if we rename it to cool MD? And then open that in the browser. Boom! That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that we can open markdown in the browser, I think. Anyway, that's kick-ass. So in the end, that was a simple change where we simply added a content rect implementation to columns view. So we can simplify this code here. Slightly. By just doing that. Nice and tidy. And then apparently we have some unrelated formatting change. Push column. Where is that even? Line 305. Okay. That looks like an unrelated white space change, but I'm feeling generous, so we'll include it. GUI. Implement columns view content rect. Or let's say support inline editing, make inline editing work in columns view. All it took was implementing, was overwriting content rect. Yes, cool. Oh, let's test it out on the desktop. So new file, foozy, barzy. Cool. So in fact, now, wait, why doesn't that do? So if I click here, it seems like when I keyboard navigate, okay, something is weird. Sometimes it doesn't activate. That's probably some unrelated selection or cursor related thing that I'm just going to ignore that for now. But that's awesome that it works. And I feel quite happy with that. So what is going on here? Key down event. Just curious, like there's so little left in this key down event. Same thing here. Key return, activate selected, activate selected. What about table view? Key down event, return, activate cursor index. So he works a little differently. Anyway, I was kind of thinking that now that we can do inline renaming, it's almost like when you make a new file, instead of popping up a dialog, we could also just like create a new file and start editing immediately. So you would like it would show up like this. But I don't know. Or we could create a new file that's called like untitled. Also, this rect is a bit annoying that it's so small. Anyway, I'm just gonna call it a day here because we got a lot of good stuff done, and I don't want to get started on something new at the moment. So, if you made it this far, then I thank you for watching and for hanging out. I hope that you saw something interesting, and that I'll see you again next time. All right, bye.